Hey, welcome back to the Disney Plus Everyday Challenge, and today we have Dog with a Blog. This is a Disney Channel series from 2012. Yeah, it run 3 seasons, and it's an multiple Emmy-nominated series about a. Can you guess what it's about? It's about a dog with a blog. I mean, that's really just the framework of it, and you're like, okay, is it really about a dog that, for some reason, is the situation really a dog with a blog? It is. It's not like a human is doing the blog for the dog or about the dog. It's a dog that knows how to type and talk. One of my most hated things about any type of television or film. Yes, talking animals with moving mouths. At first, I thought they were just going to do like a voiceover thing where it was just going to be, we'll just make the sound because we are on a budget and we're not going to digitally make a dog move its mouth. No. They did the moving mouth thing. It's not perfect, it's not great, it's not bad, but it's still something I really don't like at all. It's your standard Disney Channel format comedy. It's focused on the kids. We got a dumb sibling. We got a way too intense, clever sibling that usually talks down to the dumb sibling. And then there's the innocent, sort of agent of chaos type sibling. This is a mixed family, by the way. This is a mom and dad got married, and so it's also about siblings getting together after being together. We pick up on them about a year into their living together situation, and it's a little sister. Avery is kind of the main character, along with the brother. Avery is played by Genevieve Henalius. I'm pretty sure I might have mispronounced that. But yeah, if you have watched any of she's used to talking dogs, by the way. She probably got the job because she's worked with so many talking dogs. It's all those buddy movies, like Santa Buddies or Space Buddies or, I don't know, Apocalypse, Death Cult Puppies. I don't know. Whatever it is, they're the buddies that do all the adventures, and she's always the little tiny tween, I guess. She's a tween here, but I don't know. She's a kid who is always their friend or something, and they try to save her or something. Like, they have a superhero one. I don't know if she's in. I don't know which one she's in. We've seen enough of them, and there are way too many of them, and they're all on Disney Plus. The last I checked. But she's adorable, and she's great. She has strong delivery for a kid. I usually am a little bit more critical of children. Yes, it's comedy delivery meant for a laugh track. That's, you can see how things are edited together in order to have the actors react to the trained dog moving into the scene. And you also, anyway, it's the kids pretty much run the show in a sense. And it's line after line. There has to be a joke every other line for the most part. I don't think there's a live studio audience. I think it's pretty much a laugh track because it sounds just like every other laugh track that's on Disney Channel. Her parents, her brother, her brother is played by Blake Michael. He's Tyler, and he's older. He's an older teen. He's constantly horny, I guess, and when we meet him, he is basically studying, but pretty much trying to seduce possibly the dumbest cheerleader ever depicted on television for children, anyway. So, but only be interrupted by Avery, who is like, I have this room from this minute to this minute, and she's really uptight, and she's really about rules and regulations, and just, yeah. Avery's going to learn to loosen up, and of course, maybe Tyler will start to get a little bit brighter and a little bit more compassionate. And what Avery has a problem with is the fact that despite being part of this blended family for a year now, they haven't really connected fully. They haven't really gotten along. They're not like at each other's throats, but they're just she doesn't necessarily see in Tyler a strong, protective, compassionate brother type, which, hey, kids want that if they're, they're part of a family. That's, it's understandable. And then there's also the little sister, who is Francesca Capaldi. She plays Chloe, and she's, what, 4 in this? 5? I don't know. She just says little kid things like, I want a pony, and there's laughter. And yeah, and then there's the parents, who anybody who's watched comedy shows for a long time will recognize both of these actors. They've done a ton of shows over the years. Reagan Burns is dad, he plays Bennett, and Beth Littleford is Ellen Jennings. She was in The Daily Show. Yeah, she was on The Daily Show. So, mom and dad. Mom is the mother of Avery, and she's also a little bit uptight. She's not really into dogs, and dad is the sort of know-it-all child family psychologist kind of thing. And none of his stuff ever seems to make a whole lot of sense. He's pretty much, it sounds like he's winging it. He wrote a book, and he keeps reminding everybody of that fact, and that he's so much smarter. All of his ideas, they're the parents that are meant to be the butt of so many jokes. The kids are always, it's one of those things with the kids' television programming, and it's not just a Disney thing, it's also a Nickelodeon thing and things like that, and also in the animation world as well. It's always the kids who are the smart, clever focal point, and the parents are usually dumb. Homer Simpson, in many cases. In this case, Dad's a little bit out of control in a sense. He has all these weird ideas, and of course he does the silly things, and Mom is the straight man in this sense, and when she does something silly or weird, the bigger funny happens. So yeah, it's Stan the dog is voiced by, where are you, Stan? The dog, his name is Stan, by the way. Yes, Stephen Full does the voice, and he's a pretty good comedic delivery. The physical dogs, during the course of this series, I believe at least 2 dogs were used. I don't know if they were interchangeably during the same seasons, or one just, contract negotiations and then had to replace him. I have no idea. But yeah, it's this show is over 11 years old now. This is just kind of crazy. I only watched 1 episode. Pretty much got the idea. They're all about 21, 22 minutes long each. Gives you an idea of, your standard comedy length. It's has its funny moments, but again, that whole thing with the talking dog moving the mouth thing just annoys me. That's why I'm not really a big fan of the Buddies films, the Air Buds and all that stuff, or the Beverly Hills Chihuahuas or whatever. That stuff can just go away, in my opinion. But the concept here, of course, is the dog can talk, and when the humans find out that he can talk, they make some, in the past, he tells a story of some of his previous owners, because they got him at the shelter. Previous owners, when they tell somebody else, they get taken away to the funny farm. Yeah, that's the nicest way of putting it, I guess, or the most insulting way of putting it. They're considered insane, and they're dragged off while leaving the dog in an empty house. I really don't get that, but eventually they forcefully, one guy was taken from his home by 2 men in white uniforms, but he was doing no harm to anybody, but they were dragging him away, and that was a funny scene. So there's also a guy who was willing to experiment on the dog, on Stan. Did I say it was Stan? Yeah, Stan. But the dog escaped. So yeah, he's been through all sorts of different things. And at one point he mishears the kids when they start fighting over what they should do about when they learned about the dog's ability to speak, whether they should share it with their parents, what are they going to do. And of course, the little one can't shut up about it, and they don't believe her because she's a little kid and she has a weird, wild imagination. And they end up at the pound. And by the way, one of my favorite parts of this first episode is the fact that Harvey Gillen, I'm pretty sure I pronounced his last name wrong, from What We Do in the Shadows, Guillermo is in this from What We Do in the Shadows in just a bit part in the dog pound. So that's kind of neat to see. That's just like the latter half of the episode. But yeah, he has a not so well. Yeah, no, I'm not going to spoil it. Yeah, but anyway, it is a fun little show, and I have a feeling there's a couple other faces that might pop up here and there. But yeah, it's difficult for me to watch with the talking dog mouth moving. It's not as bad as others, but yeah. And also, it is kind of weird that, I mean, it's just sort of saying, okay, let's do a show that really takes advantage of this girl's ability to hang out with talking dogs. And what's popular now? Blogs are big. We can't put them on Tumblr because that's just LiveJournal's not really around anymore. Let's just have him, do a blog. Let him, click and drag his images in there and know how to type words out. And apparently he's writing this for other dogs to read. And do we know that dogs can read in this? I guess in this reality that dogs can not only write blogs and speak, but they can read blogs. And that they go on the internet to read this dog's blog. And then the even weirder part is that when he's writing his blog on the family computer, like, nobody checks the history or wonders who's writing this. There's really no parental controls in this. Understandably, I would think with a teenage boy in that house who seems to be horny from minute one in this first episode. There probably should be parental controls on this thing, because it seems to be a public shared computer in the living room kind of space, a shared space. He's writing this in the middle of the night, and of course Mom walks through kind of half awake on the way to the kitchen and sees him sitting there and sort of does a double take when she comes back out of the kitchen. And he just pretends he's just asleep there, and he leaves the computer alone. And what we learn is that just before she walked through, he's like, all right, a little something for me, he says to himself. And we find out what she looks at on the computer is hot poodles. So the dog with the blog likes dog. I'm not going to say the word just in case he gets flagged, but yes. And the fact that she doesn't, okay, it doesn't matter. I think anybody else would be like, hot poodles? Like, well, certainly the dog didn't look this up. Who? Yeah, she got mad for the wrong reasons. Like, she thought he wanted another dog. But not in that way. Which would have been my first guess. I don't know why. Especially if they were hot. Like, I don't even want to know that if there's a site like that for, okay, never mind. Apparently there's a whole section of the internet just for dogs to look up because of their attractiveness to other dogs. If it doesn't already exist, I'm sure somebody made one after watching this series. Because everything's out there. Let's pick tomorrow's episode and clean ourselves up.
408.
408. 408. Come on. 408. Ooh, overshot it. Oh, okay. Well, we got another documentary. I don't know if this is a series or if it's an individual thing, but I don't know. Sheldon from Big Bang Theory might like this. I don't know. The Flag Makers. Yeah, I know that's a deep cut joke for anybody who may have seen latter seasons of Big Bang Theory. But anyway, yeah, The Flag Makers is what we're watching next on the Disney Plus Everyday Challenge. I'll see you back here tomorrow with that.